We have Dr. Jamuna Ravi, CEO of We Have Vikas. Jamuna is an IT industry veteran with over 35 years of experience, including global leadership roles and stint in Amsterdam, heading banking and capital markets for Infosys Europe. Today, she's driving initiatives to empower senior citizens across India. And the fun fact about Jamuna, she describes herself as having aggression of North with subtlety of the South. I think we are here to see some unique blend in action. Jamuna, over to you.
Thank you, Meenakshi. My pleasure to be here today. And I would like to thank Neerja for inviting me to be the keynote speaker for the summit today. So my story is actually very similar to Neerja's. It's just 10 years more experience. And, it's like a slightly different perspective. So I am really honored that all of you have joined us on a Saturday morning, as Neerja said, that was the first Saturday of the new year, to listen to us. And, being the keynote speaker is a responsibility, and I think I should try and do justice to it. So I'm just going to share my experience. And I would just like to set context of my background, because I think that is very important to my story of how I got onto LinkedIn. So I am a bit Spilani graduate for computer science, and that was a long time ago. I was one of the early movers in IT, and I've got a 35 years plus experience in the IT industry, mainly across TCS, Infosys, Shell, and HSBC, and with also an entrepreneurial stint thrown in for about 4 years in the middle. And I've got global experience. I've spent 2 years in Amsterdam, as Meenakshi mentioned. I was like the banking and capital markets head of Europe for Infosys at that time, and it was a great experience. And about LinkedIn itself, though I was a technologist, I really never got onto social media or communication in a big way because I never felt the need to. And as Neerja said, similarity was quite eerie. I did try Facebook, and that was more because for 2 years I was in the Netherlands, and for 1 year I was away from my family in the 2 years. So I did want to really, communicate, and and that's the reason I really got onto Facebook. And of course, LinkedIn was like not very popular at that time, but I did get onto LinkedIn physically on 2004 itself, in 2004 itself, but I never really used it much. And when I was in Infosys, and then when I was an entrepreneur after that, I did want to use it because it is something which I thought would help me to be an entrepreneur and reach out to prospects and things like that. So I did some half-hearted like work on LinkedIn, trying to get myself known. And then I headed back to corporate life, and that too to GCCs, and these were Shell and HSBC. And in both these companies, I was actually the inclusion and diversity head, and I did have things to say on LinkedIn, and it would have been interesting for people. But when I tried to post something, there was so much red tape in the GCCs themselves about putting posts out on LinkedIn that I never thought it was worth the effort, because I had so much work to do otherwise. I said it's really not worth my time. So I would have somebody in my team or the communications group in the company itself to ensure that that content got onto LinkedIn. But I never really like bothered about trying to write posts myself or anything like that. And so another 6 years went past, and then it was time for me to retire. And I retired in 2022. As I saw a comment somewhere, it is very inspiring to be able to retire from a technology career in India. Most people don't last that long, but I did. And, it was a marathon that was very, very actually productive. So in 2022, I retired from HSBC. And then I was just thinking of maybe doing some advisory roles, and maybe doing some consulting and a couple of board positions if I got them. And I wasn't really planning to do anything full time or anything. And then, as serendipity would have it, I bumped into Chris Gopalakrishnan, who is the co-founder of Infosys and who was the CEO when I was in Infosys as well. And he said, I have this role of a CEO, and it's like not for profit. And would you like to take it up? And then I said, why not? This is something which hasn't been done in India before for empowering senior citizens. He had a model of AARP in the US, and that's what he wanted to emulate. And he said, it would be great if you want to take it up. So I said, well, I mean, let me do this. And so 2023 April onwards, I was on board in Biovikas as the CEO. And so what happened in Vaya Vikas is that we spent, I mean, it had been in existence since 2021, and we've been doing some really good things, and we had like my CEO, Pavitra Reddy, who was already on LinkedIn, and she was communicating quite well on gerontology and initiatives, things like that, and she was doing it very well. But I, for some reason, I thought in 2024 I'll get onto LinkedIn in a more active way. Then 2024 just passed by. 2025, I said, no, at least I have to get more, active in this space, at least while following posts. And just like Nirja said, I found a lot of interesting content that I was very passionate about reading. So I started getting onto LinkedIn regularly and reading posts. But even then, and I also made sure, I think Shanti Rao, she's from my team, and she's my content creator, and she's here. And so we did make sure that Vayavika started creating a lot of content, and which was read, and like at least the awareness about the company spread. But still, as the CEO, I should have been communicating on what's happening in this space, and I never got around to doing it. And then, of course, I bumped into to Neerja again. Like she kindly agreed to participate at one of our roundtables, which was about changing age demographics, and it was a great, passionate discussion held in my small office. And I was really inspired by by what she and the others were saying. And then, of course, I missed the first announcement in September, but when she announced the second cohort in October, I said, why not? I mean, nothing else is forcing me to come on and start posting. So let me at least take this up with both hands. And then I accepted that invite. And I think I saw a post of Nirja somewhere where she said that Jamuna was the first one who accepted the second cohort invite, and there I was. And as a kind of person I am, if I take on something, I like to do it properly, and I think that's what helped. So I took on this commitment of doing this 2 week cohort, and I said, let me at least follow whatever is being taught, and let me do this properly. So I spent my full effort in actually, at least participating in the cohort and also following Nirja's, instructions quite faithfully. And so I think I learned a lot. And then finally, of course, that mindset was broken of the first post, which is what Nirja was talking about. And now I'd like to just talk a little bit about my key learnings. So I think what was stopping me from posting, I think that's the question which I think we all have to answer for ourselves. So it is really the why, the what, and the who. I think these are the three things that we have to learn on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is a very powerful platform. And as Nirja correctly said, I think if you want to know what's happening in the world about something, if you want to reach out to a network which is going to help you do your work, I think it is important. But then, you have to get these three right. Why are you on LinkedIn? What are you doing on LinkedIn? And who are you reaching out to? I think these are the three important things. Unfortunately, I don't think I took a snapshot of how many followers I had, when I got in, which was October. But right now, this is the statistics, which is there. I mean, I have over 5,000 followers. I can't really believe it myself. And then, the three things which are pointed out here, the technologist, the leader, and the advocate, are really the three things that I set out. I went through my cohort notes today, and I found that these are the three things that I said that I wanted to do. I wanted to, remain being known as a technologist. I wanted to become a social impact leader, being well known as a social impact leader, and be able to advocate for the senior citizens, which is what I was working on. And then I also wanted to be continued to be known as an inclusive leader. And generational inclusivity is also a great inclusivity to focus on. So I'm actually quite amazed that these analytics gave this like result, of being known for technologist, leader, and advocate. And it's really over just less than 3 months, because I actually started in November. So, all of those, people who are on the call and keep, worrying about what they would do once they come on LinkedIn, don't worry about it. Just let fate take its course. You do whatever you want to do, but first you figure out what is the what, why, what is the what, and what is the who. I think these are the three that you really have to figure out for yourself. And a lot of it is about introspection and a supportive group, which will also help you figure it out. I was very lucky in my second cohort. A lot of these people are here, and I think they also helped me also kind of get through, those roadblocks or mental blocks as they are. And then, of course, the bonus that I got at the end of it, and that's what I think I'm really, really happy about, is that I wanted to start, knowing more about longevity. And it's so good that I've been reaching out to experts in longevity in the world, and nobody really turns down your invite. And here the superpower says advancing India's longevity leadership story. So I've already started becoming known for that, and it's just 2 months, and so the sky is the limit, really. And so the I just like to just start kind of winding down by talking about the 3 or 4 milestones that I'm really proud of. There are 2 podcasts that I was chosen for, and one was a global podcast, which, in fact, I got the mail and I was telling, Nirja, I just read it 2, 3 times to see if it was a scam mail. It was somebody on YouTube and who had actually reached out and said that, we would like to do a YouTube thing with you. And that YouTube thing would actually they're recording global leaders, and they're doing 1 hour podcasts, and they're talking about, whatever you want to talk about. And for me, it was like the perceptions, progress, and really about what I wanted to talk about was longevity. That's what the organizer wanted me to talk about. The second one is her chronicles. I think the people who runs it, I think Abha is on the call. I think I saw her sending some messages as well. Abha and Jayanti, these are the people who reached out to me, and that was much more personal. It was me as a leader, and it covered a half-an-hour podcast on what I'd done. And they came and actually interviewed me in my office, and I think that was a great podcast as well. And in addition to that, of course, the 5,000 followers, kind of crossing that number was great. And then the 2025 rewind on LinkedIn was fascinating too. I mean, it profiled me as a catalyst, and that gave me a lot of satisfaction, because even I noticed today, even in my cohort notes, I'd said, in that exchange, that I'm known as a catalyst everywhere. And then LinkedIn recognized me as one and said that at least all my conversations are provoking thought in people, and they're actually recognizing, that there are issues that need to be discussed in much more depth. So that catalyst brand is something which I'm really happy about. I mean, I'm not really aspiring to be like someone who like follows, who has like, many followers. It is more about at least people reading my content and thinking about the thing that needs to be thought. In my case, I'm focusing on longevity and senior citizens and how they need to be looked after in India. And it's great that, people are reading my posts, and also the global experts are also reading my posts, because one of the things I really want to do is that really bring India onto that map, because India is going to have the most number of senior citizens in the world very soon. And if their data is not part of the global data, it is very unfortunate. And of course, we've been doing a lot of good things in Via Vikas. There was a conclave recently, which Nirja attended as well, which was on the changing age demographics. And that, again, is going to focus uh, 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 on corporates this year, where we're really going to work on making sure that the corporates also realize that the changing demographics are affecting them as well. It doesn't matter that they don't have senior people working for them, but there is a need to include all senior citizens in the country, in whatever happens totally. So I just like to end by saying that, that for me, this whole linking this LinkedIn writing mindset was like a beginning, and which gave me that push I needed to get onto this platform, because it was necessary for my company, definitely, and probably very beneficial for the country as well. So I think it's good that I've got over my initial hesitation of posting. I still have a challenge. I want to retain my focus on technology, and also, be continue to be known as a inclusive leader. And so I need to start balancing my posts. But I think I'm very, very happy with the progress that I've made so far. And I would also like to say that there is really like nothing which stops you from becoming an expert on LinkedIn too, and doing whatever you want to achieve. So I think that is something I would really leave with all of you. And I think the most important thing that you really need to figure out is the why, what, and how, and also, figure out your personal brand, what you want to be known as. I think that is really important. So I think the next session by Sneha on personal branding, I think, is something which is a perfect segue into that. And I think she's going to talk about a personal brand. So it's going to be, I'm sure, very useful for all of you. And I hope that whatever I've talked about today is helpful to all of you. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn in case you want to connect, and I'd be happy to get in touch with you.
Thank you, Jamuna, for those inspiring thoughts.